Okay, hello. We are in lab number 1. Let me introduce the team. So in my right side is Dr. Germán Enestrosa. They are the congenital heart disease team. Dr. Germán, Dr. Diego Anthony, who is changing his apron, and Dr. Silvina with us. Here is Erika, Matthias, who is here. And our anesthesiology. So this catheter is probably too small. Which is the size? Okay, let me introduce the case first, and then we keep working here doing something. So Germán, Dr. Enestrosa is going to present the case. Let's go.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. So the next slide, please. This is a female of 28 years old who had...
Germán, here, could you show him his face? He is the guy who is by my right side here with the camera.
Oh, here.
Could you move the monitor a little bit there? Oh, okay, perfect. No, don't move. Don't move. Don't touch. It's okay. Keep going.
She received several surgeries before because she had, as diagnostics, a double outlet right ventricle with, as you can see, there is a main pulmonary artery there. But she received first one VT shunt at 1 month because of severe cyanosis, because he has a severe stenosis. And then at 3 years old, she received a corrective surgery. About that, we have lost the surgical information. But at 8 years old, she was in. She went back to the operation room because she received one pulmonary valve replacement with an homograph, and also we don't have actually the number of the homograph, the diameter of the homograph, but we were expecting that it was about 16 or 18 millimeters in diameter. The clinical evolution, as usually happens with this typical surgery, it progresses to a progressive homograph dysfunction, which include not only pulmonary regurgitation, she also had a severe pulmonary stenosis with suprasystemic right ventricular pressure. So another slide, please. On this ECG, you can see one SR of 55, a PQ 2200, and QRS with 160, and blood test well normal, and she's 35 kilometers wide and 140 height. And in the echo, we could see one right ventricular hypertrophic dilatation and severe dysfunction. On the homograph, the peak gradient was in the initial cath 70 millimeters in atmosphere with moderate and severe regurgitation. The MRI showed one right ventricular end diastolic volume of 140, and the end systolic right ventricular volume was 76. Both were high, not so much high as you can see on the isolated pulmonary regurgitation, but it were too high. And on the MRI also was able to see one calcified homograph with severe stenosis and moderate pulmonary valve regurgitation. Next slide, please. You can see the pressure here. It was our first cut, which was made almost 1 year ago, the 24th of August in 2022. And the objective of the catheterism was diagnosis, and all, of course, we need to prepare this homograph to receive one valve. And we need to check, very important, the coronary arteries, and we need to be sure that when we were going to prepare the homograph, creating a safe landing zone, we need to be sure that it was impossible to have one coronary stenosis. So you can see the pressure in the first cath was the right ventricle had 60 of peak systolic pressure, and the pulmonary artery has 20 millimeters, and the aorta has 79. And next slide, please. You can see in this picture, very nice picture, when you can see how stenotic was the homograph, not only on the right ventricular outflow tract, on the proximal part it was also very stenotic at the distal part. And this is very dangerous because when you will be able to, when you need to put one stent there, you need to be very sure that the coronary arteries, the left coronary arteries, which is always involved in this pathology, need to be safe in this procedure. So you can see at the back side of the homograph, the native pulmonary artery, which was closed, of course. Next slide, please. Here you have the measurement of the first cath. You can see a heavy calcified homograph with a distal diameter of 11 millimeters, and the main parts of the homograph was 13 and 14 millimeters, and the length was 45 millimeters. It was very, very long homograph with two heavy stenosis, proximal and distal before the pulmonary bifurcation. Yes. So next slide, please. There you can see that we use a very, very interesting technique in which when we are testing how the coronary arteries are related to the homographs, we were prepared with one long stent because we need to be sure when we were going to inflate the balloon that the homograph not to be broken and the coronary not to be compressed. So you can see the balloon and the stent in parallel in different wires, of course. And in this technique, we were able to be sure that the coronary was safe. And so we proceeded to the angioplasty with the stent. Also, of course, it was a cover stent because we were very afraid about the calcium, and it's a very dangerous angioplasty because the homograph can have a severe fracture anywhere, and you can have one control hemorrhagia or very dramatic hemorrhagia. So next slide, please. So the final angio in result of creation, a very nice landing zone. We use, as I told you before, one CP, one cover stent, 10-6 with 60 millimeter length, and the balloon for the stent implant was a big balloon with 16 millimeters and 60 millimeter length. We stopped there because we were sure that we need a wide stent because we want to have one right ventricular pressure, yes, no more than 30-35 millimeters, because we need one gradient less than 20 or 15 millimeters, which is ideal. So next slide, please. Yes. This is the final pressure when we end the cath. The right ventricle has 32 millimeters and the pulmonary artery has 20 millimeters. So there was a gap of 12 millimeters in gradient, and the aorta has 42 millimeters of pressure. So now we came back to the cath lab almost 1 year later, and we were decided to complete this cath in trying to be sure that there was not gradient, and of course put one high pressure balloon, which can be the Atlas or another one. And we first did one angioplasty that I'm going to show you on the next slide. So now Oscar is trying to put the catheter inside the left coronary artery, because we have already done two angioplasty, one without the stent, and the first of one was with the stent. Yes. And we need to be sure that the left coronary arteries are free, because we want to proceed making one new angioplasty a little more distal. So can we see what Oscar is trying to do there? Because there you will be able to see that the stent is very nice open at the proximal part of the homograph, but we would like to open it a little more before the bifurcation. So it is very, very, very difficult to catch the coronary arteries in this situation, because as I told you before, This is a double outlet right ventricle, and the aorta is a little bigger than usual.
Yes.
And the coronary in these situations has an abnormal anatomy of both coronary arteries, right and left coronary arteries, are from the left sinus. So we need to be sure that the coronaries are free. So we are going to check all the time that we need. But I'm going to prepare the valve before the next angioplasty, because right now, we are sure that we can put the valve because the RV pressure right now is less than 30 millimeters. So the strategy now, as I told you before, of course, initial diagnostic about how hemodynamical is the RVOT, and if it's necessary, improve the landing zone, which we have done before, and we are going to show you. And we are going to implant one pulmonary valve, which is the Pulsta valve. About this valve, I can tell you that we have a very strong experience with this. We have already implanted more than 50 valves, and they works perfectly in this situation. This is a good news, because it was built just to be implanted only in pulmonary regurgitation in typical pallotetralogy RVOT. But we began to do this almost 3 years ago, and we have very nice results. So we decided to put this valve. Then I'm going to tell you why. But first, I am very focused on how difficult it is to catch the coronary artery. So next slide, please. So as I told you before, we are going to implant, after creating this landing zone, we are going to implant one self-expandable valve. These self-expandable valves were designed just for pulmonary regurgitation, which is typical in post-pallotetralogy RVOT. But in this particular case, where usually you can use, of course, one balloon expandable valve, which can be Melody or Edwards or my valve, or you can use also the new Venus P for pulmonary stenosis. We decide to use one of these 4 pulmonary valves, which is the third, which, as you can see in this picture, is a very, very thin pulmonary valve. Here in Argentina, we don't have all the auto-expandable valve. We don't have the Harmony valve. We don't have up to now the Med-Zenit pulmonary valve. But we can implant here as a self-expandable valve one Pulsta or one Venus P. In this situation, is much more interesting to use the Pulsta valve, because the Venus P has the distal flare and a proximal flare are not very good valve for this situation. So next picture, please. This valve is a valve which the stent is a nitinol stent. It's a very thin valve in where you can see one porcine pericardium valve, which goes from 18 to 32 millimeters on the central part, and also have 2 distal flare 4 millimeters wider than the central part of the valve. And there are different lengths. The smallest one are between 28 and 33 millimeters, and the largest one are almost 38 millimeters length. In this situation, we decide to use one of the smallest valve, which is 22 millimeters in diameter and 33 millimeters length. So next picture. The valve also is mounted on the delivery system of the valve. Has 3 parts. The distal part, where you have to crimp the valve, and we are going to show you in a few minutes how you can crimp the valve. and also has a catheter, which is 12 millimeters French in diameter, and the valve in the initial part has 18 millimeters, and also has one handle where you can make the two situation of the delivery, in which there is a slow delivery, which the scroll, and then there is a fast delivery, as we are going to show you in the next minutes. So another picture, please. So this, we are going to stop here. I would like to talk about this transcatheter pulmonary valve later, because we have a strong experience using many of these valves. All the valves that are in this picture, we of course we have in Argentina. We use them, and we are going to speak about any one of them specifically in a few minutes. So now I would like to show you what we have done today before the transmission. And please, can we see the first angio? Okay, next. Okay, here you see in the typical right lateral view with not too much cranial, because in this position you can see how long is the stent, and of course the stent was good, but we know before that there was a little stenosis at the proximal part of the stent, and we wanted to open it, not only to reduce the right ventricular gradient, also because we need to have the biggest hole possible as soon as possible, because the valves need to get inside of this hole. So
sorry, keep going.
Okay.
Mostrale.
Okay, next slide, please. Next angio. You can see on the left view, you can see a nice angio where also the homograph is heavy calcified, and the stent looks very nice, and the initial gradient was up to
initial 25
millimeters of gradient,
but it was more than 50%. The right ventricular pressure was more than 50% from the aortic pressure.
Okay, I'm going to let Diego that show the angio, because he did it alone, because I was a little complicated. So next angio, and Diego, please tell us what you did there.
Well, what we did afterwards, we had these pressures. We put an Atlas balloon of 16 millimeters diameter. We did an inflation until 12 atmospheres, and we saw that there was recoil, and we also saw that the stent was fractured in the proximal part. So we decided to put a second stent in the proximal part that you can see in the next one. Well, this is the Atlas. Next one. You can see there the fracture. Next one.
Yes, below there you can see below the ring on the sternum.
Yes.
You can see the fracture.
Next one. Perfect. This is the second one. There you can see the fracture perfectly well.
Yeah.
Next one. There was no homograph fracture, so we go ahead and put the stent. Next one. Next one. There is the stent. This is a 34 millimeter stent, CP stent, uncovered. And it's mounted
in length with a balloon.
Yes, and mounted on an 18 diameter balloon. So we did the inflation and everything was fine. There you can see the inflation of 18 millimeters diameter balloon. And now we're trying to get the coronary artery, because the coronary artery goes in the upper part of the stent, and we want to be sure that we are not compressing it when we are going to put an 18 Atlas balloon on the upper part of the stent.
Okay. Is it the last?
It is very important. You will see that we keep making angiography all the time after any angioplasty, because it is very, very important to be sure that the homograph didn't break it and we don't have any leak outside the homograph, because we can fix it right now. We are prepared of that. And if you are sure that the homograph didn't broke or it broke, but there is no leak, we can go ahead and we have just created a very nice landing zone. The RV pressure are very good. We have less than 30 millimeters of right ventricular pressure. And what we are going to do now,
we are trying to engage the coronary artery, which is extremely difficult. We have tried with different shell 3, 4, 3.5 guidance, and we are following the previous imaging we have here on left caudal angulation. But to be honest, on the list, this left caudal is quite similar to this, and we are not being able to engage it. So my question to you, while I'm working, is how often do you have stem fractures in this kind of conduct?
When you use a stent, any stent you use, maybe chromocobaltium or maybe iridoplatinum, like this stent, this CP stent, we know that sooner or later the stent will fracture. So that's why we usually use not only one, we use 2 or 3 stents, not only because of the recoil. We are going to, we will use many stents because the radial force continue, and the same radial force that make the homograph stenotic will try to break this stent. So there is no problem, one fracture of the stent, because what we are trying to do is to protect the valve. This is a very long-term concern, because as who is not familiar with this procedure, when Philipp Bonhoeffer began to do this procedure, he saw himself that the initial valves, which were implanted almost 20 years ago, the initial valve didn't work for no more than 1 or 2 years. And the problem was that he didn't do one landing zone presenting this homograph. So we learned with the years and of course the papers and our personal experience that if you protect the valve, opening the homograph and creating a house or a beautiful landing zone, you not only be sure that there will not be a stenosis, residual stenosis, we are also sure that the valve will work for many, many years. So we are very happy to have Oscar in this cath lab today, because he was working like 10 minutes.
Let me tell you the truth. This is the coronary artery I have taken more time since I was first degree fellow, and I was almost as scared as at that time, because it was really difficult. We tried everything.
This is very usual when we are, perhaps they don't call to you, but sometimes we are trying to catch this coronary artery and say, stop here, call an adult, please.
Yeah. No, how we would have solved the situation if we were unable to do it. One possibility is to put a pigtail there to do a good angio, and you are not going to have an angiography like this, but it's going to be acceptable. I say acceptable.
It is acceptable, but the protocol say.
Who is in charge of anesthesiology?
The protocol say.
Fíjate que la presión,
The protocol say that you need to make one angio inside the coronary artery, also if the homograph will be open. So.
Okay, so for this kind of graphs, now that we have a little bit more time, so would you rather like to use balloon or self-expandable valves?
No, usually all around the world are balloon expandable valves. Okay, but what's the situation here? And I have a lot of conflict about that.
Okay.
Because the balloon expandable valve, that we only have here and we have enough experience is the melody valve. What happened with the melody valve? The melody valve, as everybody knows, is a CP stent, and inside there is a bovine trivalvar. And the problem is that it's very, very not so thin like this. It's very strong, and usually reduce the inner diameter of the conduit. So you have more stenosis after you implant the valve. And also there is a very complicated relationship between residual stenosis and endocarditis. And the only thing that that is clear that
norepinephrine here. Dame Nora. Dámela acá.
¿Quieres mirar el injerto que esté todo bien?
We're going to see the homograph now.
Because the patient is hypotensive now. Let's check and think she's stopping. Give me adrenaline here.
The homograph. You are going to use this.
So let's check the homograph, please.
Por favor. Okay. Acerquemos. We are going to
¿Qué quieres hacer?
to put the a ver. Lateral view, please.
So you.
No, please. The same picture of that. 41 right, please.
Dame contraste, ¿dónde está? So we will check here because something probably is wrong.
The homograph is perfect and the
ventricle is okay. But she is hypotensive. We can use norepinephrine here.
No, we can make, yeah.
Give me some Nora here.
We are going to change. Vamos a hacer, por favor, oblicuo izquierdo. Vamos a cambiar la proyección.
Saquémosle el balón.
Buena idea. Good idea. Get out the balloon, please. Good idea. It's what usually happens. Maybe we were trying to make another angioplasty and we left the balloon inside the homograph. And as you know, the homograph is not so wide. So a little more left, more there. Perfect.
Okay.
Ahí está recuperando.
We need to be sure, as I told you before, that it was no problem with the homograph. The coronary is perfect, as Scar showed to us. And maybe the problem here was that we left the balloon inside the homograph. So when she will recover, we will return to make one new angioplasty and we will continue to the valve. Please, can we change? I would like to see the stent a little, un poquito más caudal y oblicuo izquierdo. We would like to see how is the stent with the left coronary artery. Spider. Spider. Okay, now the aortic pressure is good. The aortic pressure is good. Maybe it was a problem. Okay. We left the balloon inside for a lot of time, long time. And oh my God.
We lost the position.
Okay, we can check it again.
Okay.
This.
Sí. Vamos a esa proyección.
53-22, por favor.
Dame la guía. It was so difficult.
I will begin with the valve.
Yeah, let's prepare the valve because we only have 20 minutes. The coronary was not compressed. We saw on the previous test, so we can inflate sure now because we saw the distance was really high between the coronary and the homograph, and we have a lot of tests before and now.
Okay.
So we cannot take too much time now.
Dame 3 minutos.
It was such a difficult before. Let me check where the catheter was. And I tried to go exactly to the same place. Goes a little bit hiding with on the right view or the regular left view is almost impossible to see.
Dame el delivery.
Once again, give me the wire. So in my opinion, if we cannot engage again, we can proceed with the dilatation and Diego and implant the valve.
Yes, of course. And we can put the pigtail, as you said before, if you want.
And we can use the injection with the pigtail, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's extremely difficult because it's not there.
Pongámosle el atlas 18 en la parte distal.
Let me see. Give me again.
To be sure.
Prepare the valve.
Go ahead. We have already done one angio and the coronary is perfect.
Yeah.
So maybe we can go ahead and open the
the
distal
graft,
part
yeah.
of the stent.
Let
And
me try for while
Okay.
you are preparing
No
the
problem.
valve. You because we only have 30 minutes. You prepare the valve and
We
we
didn't do any.
are,
no,
do,
nada
are,
de gradiente.
we are going to do this.
Sí, sí. No, pero lo vamos a hacer ahora. How long is this? Okay.
Poneme a aceptar. Not there. It is the area, but not there.
I need here.
Which is unbelievable. It's impossible to see where the ostium is on the right view and also on the left. We had to code that. Let me check. We are not there. It should be a little bit here. So it's moving so fast. The
Okay, what
catheter-
we're going to do now is to
So
clean the
what you
valve.
can show now is how probably if you move the table a little bit proximal here
To the camera, okay?
from this camera, you can see how Dr. Germán is preparing the valve while I am trying to engage again the coronary, which is going to be once again extremely difficult test. No. Impossible because you don't have possibility of maneuver the catheter.
This camera, okay, okay?
Muévete más cerca vos, ponete más vertical vos,
Okay.
así. And so, perfect.
3 minutes, change it. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, here.
I don't know if you can see the valve there. Yes.
So please describe what you are doing so the audience
Yeah,
can
we now
follow
are
you.
washing as usually happens with the valves. We need to let them get out the glutaraldehyde. So we wash it with we need to wash 3 minutes in 3 different places. So we have done one already, and Diego is making the second one. So in the second one, I'm going to show you that the valve has a distal flare. It is 38 millimeters length. So you can see the distal flare, is asymmetric, and in the 28 is symmetric. So it's very, very, very nice to see that the distal flare can help us to put in correct position. So you can see the porcine pericardium, which makes the 3 leaflet. And well, we need to continue washing. And the nitinol, as I told you before, is very, very flexible, very, very thin. So go ahead. We are going to Then here you can see the delivery system. And here you see the notch where you have to put the valve. There are 3 different hooks, and the distal part of the valve will engage these hooks, and is how it's fixed. Then I will cover it, and here you have the delivery part, in where there is a slow part. We scroll it. I am preparing because I need to make some movements. And there is a slow part like this, like this. And when we arrive to the 50% of the valve, then we need to make it in the fast way. So now Diego is almost finishing the second wash. Now we are going to go ahead with the third and the last. The last, but not the least. And okay, what we can do, if you want, Oscar, we can make one angio
with a pigtail.
With a pigtail.
Pone oblicuo derecha de vuelta.
Okay, no problem with that. So you can change. Yeah. Oops. So we have 3 minutes more, and then we will begin the crimping of the valve. Okay. So we have a crimper here to reduce the diameter of the valve, and then we will crimp it on the delivery system, which is sometimes it's not so easy and so fast, but sometimes it's very easy and very fast. So
this is a 22.
This is a 22.
38.
38 millimeters valve. Yeah. This is a 22 valve. So how is the patient now? Yes, okay. So oh, here we have almost. So I don't know if
so I think this is the best project.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. We are going to make please, we are going to put the Atlas balloon 18 millimeters of diameter. Okay, go ahead. Little more. No, not so long. Okay, a little more. Okay.
There
we are going to put one radial derecho. This 41.
Bien caudal.
And then I'm going to use one. This is saline. Oh, did you use it? No.
No, I didn't. But
okay.
I don't know if you did.
Okay, I know. We can use that. So we are going to make the last balloon angioplasty. Are we okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
no coronary obstruction.
Okay.
Let's go.
Little more.
Further because she doesn't tolerate.
Little more.
Coronary flow, it's okay.
Okay, very good. Okay.
We are aspirating.
Yeah.
Both deflating as soon as we can.
Okay.
Aspirate here, Herman.
Okay.
I can pull
do it.
From
the put it back. Yeah, put it back. Yeah, perfect. Okay, safe situation.
Give me una jeringa de 50 para aspirar.
I want to see the wire here, please. To the right. Okay. It is okay?
Yeah, it's deep, but not too deep.
No, it's okay. Perfect. Okay. Now we are going to get out the balloon.
Give me to aspirate with
first Oscar is going to aspirate a little more strong way. And we are ready just to implant the valve, but first we need to know how is the RV pressure. And of course, maybe it will be a little more higher than after the last angioplasty, because we need to use a lot of drugs just to recover the left ventricle. So I will take the balloon out. Please go ahead. Yeah, great.
Let me go.
Okay.
Should we go?
No.
It's enough.
Just I want to see the right ventricular.
Okay.
A little more down. It's perfect.
Be careful with the wire. Push.
Okay. We're going to put in no, don't worry. Show me the right ventricular pressure, please. We are going to be careful with the wire. Be careful.
Yeah. Will you show how they are crimping the valve in the triple view there, our hands, and also what they are doing with the valve there, which is important.
Here
With exactly.
you can
He's
see the
crimping
valve
there.
that is already in the crimper, and I've been already crimping it. So now you can see, but I don't know if you can see it, but this delivery system has 3 hooks. So I'm trying to get them in the struts of the valve. And once I'm sure that I did that, I use this.
Be careful, Herman.
Okay, I see.
And I'm going to progress and starting covering the valve. So when I see that it's already in,
I want to be more distant just in case.
I start to open the crimper very slightly and pushing the cover.
How much time do you need, Diego? We have only 15 minutes to finish.
We're okay. We need to have the wire in correct position. I think that is okay.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Slowly. Keep the position of the wire. Okay.
Okay. Can we have right ventricular pressure, Oscar, please?
Yeah. Of course. I will give you here. Right ventricular pressure here.
Now, after you can see that it is all covered, and you can see that the hooks are on the struts. So the valve is ready to go in.
Perfect.
And now we can.
Great.
So are we going through the sheet, or we have to pull the sheet out?
No, the right ventricular pressure is that.
Yeah.
Oh, very high because. Okay.
60.
This is not a good news, but we know that we have used a lot of drugs, and the landing zone is good. We will continue because we have the chance to make another angioplasty if we want, or valvuloplasty with the valve almost implanted. So we can go ahead, no problem.
What's pressure?
65.
60.
In the ventricle?
Yeah.
But remember the drugs, are we going through the sheet, or is
no, we are going to get out the sheet.
Okay. Please take care of the wire.
Yeah, we go ahead. We are going to use one dilator. The camera should be on Oscar's hands because we are going to make a nice dilation of this. With this.
So now we are going to dilate the hole here on the entrance side. And then we are going sheath left with the valve. So be careful when I am moving.
The reason why we choose this valve was because, as I told you before, it's much more thinner than the other one. And we feel very comfortable as the navigability of this valve, because in this position, with this homograph, with such a lot of stent, it's very usual that the delivery system of any other balloon expandable valve is very difficult to navigate them, almost with ensemble or the Edwards valve, which you need one dry seal of 22 diameters, or also the My valve, which is very similar to the Edward. So that's why we decide to, and we choose particularly this valve, which was not designated initially, was not touched. No, yeah, you can go ahead. Go.
Okay, so this is almost a inline sheath to keep the bleeding here because the nose cone is bigger than the shaft. So I will keep this in position. And now you see I have a very good navigability, hopefully.
Yeah, no, it's very nice. It's very nice. It's very nice. You can.
Yeah.
A little more.
Yeah.
We are in a very good position,
Let
but
me go up and then
no,
pull
that's
it
perfect.
a little bit.
We are perfect.
Yeah. There.
So, as I told you before, this is a 1990, very thin, much more thinner than you can see on the ESD device or VSD device. And of course, there is an advantage of that because it will not reduce such a long the inner diameter, but the problem is that you will not be able to see because the CP stand is much more radiological than this. So we are going to do, Diego, which is the specialist of this part of the procedure, is going to do
I will keep the valve in position. Diego is going to handle the delivery system, and he is going to explain what is he doing while I trying to keep the valve there.
I'm going to do the slow part of the delivery. I'm going to turn in.
Wait a minute. Could you show Dr. Diego's hands here? Here, from my side to my right. Okay,
Here.
great. Here.
So I'm going to do the slow.
I need the valve completely inside the stand.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the slow part of the delivery, that it's with this clockwise here on the knob.
So is there any trend to move forward or backward the valve?
No, you're in good position. You're in good position. No.
But I mean, the valve tries to move.
Wants to go upstream.
Okay. So I try to keep some tension.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't let him go.
Okay.
So
go forward.
I go. It's very difficult to see if it's opening because we have the CP stand, but I know that I'm
now
almost...
it's opening. Now we see. With the cine, we will see much better. Let's go. Let's go, Diego. So that's a perfect position now.
And now I'm going to do the fast part of the delivery.
Let's go. Perfect.
And it open it, completely open. So the valve is in nice position. Of course, is inside the stand. And here have changed many things. Usually, when we use this valve, as it was created to only for native RVOT, you need to have one catheter on the right ventricular outflow just to be sure where we are opening the valve. Of course, as we have this beautiful landing zone, we don't need it. So that's why we also have another venous line, but we needed to use it. So what we can do now, we need to be sure that the valve was already liberated in all the three hooks, as Diego told you before. So we need to change
the projection.
The projections, please. And I need to, okay. Looks like it's free because it. Okay.
Let's zoom there en la porción inferior. Okay.
Maybe. But we can do that. We can do that. Don't worry. We can go forward. And you see that it is moving. So I feel that we are free. We are free.
We are rotating now.
Yeah. So as you can see, the hooks are free.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
And the delivery is coming back slowly.
There you have to push the wire.
I'm just pushing the wire.
Yeah.
Pushing the wire.
Excellent.
It's very, very, very slowly. So good, very good. So what we're going to do now, we are going to stop here. And perhaps we will use this line Which
So
one is
we
the,
can use
¿cuál es el introductor más grueso que tenemos?
Dame
un 18.
14 o
No,
16.
16, 18
Ok,
está bien.
por favor, rápido.
We are going to use the same line because we don't want to remove the wire here. And we are going to make some angios on the pulmonary arteries and on the right ventricle side. And of course, we need to know the final pressure of the right ventricle. Okay.
So here in this situation, if we have used a balloon expandable valve, probably the gradient that we expect is would be worse.
Yeah, of course, because the inner hole will be less than 18 or 20 millimeters. So this is one of the most important reasons that we keep using this valve. And it's important to say, I have to say that the factory Taiwan changed the indication for the valve because of our experience. Because of our experience, because we demonstrated with more than 3 years follow-up that the valve works perfectly with stenosis. So now, if you would like to see the brochure of the valve, you will be able to read that the valve is indicated not only in pulmonary regurgitation, but it's also indicated on pulmonary stenosis, like in this condition we are showing to you.
Let me position in the wire a little bit better.
Okay. We are okay, Carl.
To prepare pigtail.
Oscar, if you want to go ahead with the pigtail, we're okay, yeah?
But I don't know, maybe I can lose the position and then I will have problems. So I will try to go safer because we don't have too much time. Samir is always asking me to be on time, which is important for the live. So I'm crossing the valve.
You are on the left pulmonary artery now. Okay, we are okay. You are okay. It's good. Pigtail.
I got that.
And the program is that it's okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So the aortic pressure is now. Can we have one line on the aortic pressure? Yeah. This is the systemic pressure now.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Flash there.
100, almost 100. 100.
What is it?
123. We began the cath with 85 millimeters of pressure. Now we have 50% higher than in the beginning of the cath. So I think that we will need more time to be sure how will be the final gradient between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. But now what we need to know, we have to see now is how is working the valve. If he has any leak or something like that, usually it works perfectly. And
let's go epicranial or here?
No, a little more cranial. A little more right. Okay, perfect. Focus on the valve, please. Good. Okay, you are ready, Oscar.
Está un poquito así de zoom.
You are ready to the angio.
You like it?
Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's good. Oh, the valve is working perfectly. There is no residual PR. And what we are going to do now is what is usual here in this situation, we are going to know how is the pressure here.
You have there.
Oh, you have there. Usually the systemic pressure, when you put this valve on the pulmonary artery, suddenly are up. 20 or 30% of the systemic pressure go up. It's logical because you are closing this open system. But now we have one distal pulmonary pressure, 44 millimeters.
Could you show hemodynamics, please?
No, it's okay. Because
on the live transmission, hemodynamics.
this is a very good news because That's why we had a right ventricular pressure
Hemodynamics.
of almost 65.
Yes.
Okay, so we are very happy
Thank you.
with the result because the gradient, the final gradient, is less than 20 millimeters, which is a
Absolutely.
very, very good
News.
result, and we are very happy about that.
We can go to the RV if you want.
To where?
To the RV,
Al ventrículo derecho.
a pullback.
Pero con la cuerda para no
Okay.
lesionar, no lesionar la válvula.
We want to use the soft wire because
For
we don't-
pullback to
yeah.
prevent any valve movement.
yeah,
Yeah, we
Okay.
do the same for any.
good. And for the aortic
Yeah,
situation,
yeah,
yeah.
So do you want to check the pressure on the right ventricle?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, right.
So we are going to lose the position. Is
No
that the
problem, no problem. We are not going to do
Anything.
anything more.
Okay?
I would love that if you put the pigtail up. Yeah, little more up.
You are
Little bit.
Okay. You see the pressure here is less than, is almost 70
Let me,
and 68. So
there.
it less than 20 millimeters or almost between 20 and 25, which is good. We are thinking that when all this drug that we have to use get out from the body, the pressure will be less.
Okay.
But
the gradient is 20.
it's 20. So, Oscar, one final answer and your
From
comment,
here.
please.
Okay, yeah.
Good, very good. Very nice, very nice.
So at the end, we have reached let's review what we have done here. So you have done first the conduct preparation in the first procedure. This is something that you can do it in the same procedure, but here in Argentina, it's almost impossible
Yeah.
due to our local, limitations, say like this. Then when the patient is back for the valve implantation, we have to work on the conduct again because we have, in a way, a residual restenosis or still some remaining stenosis or whatever the same, but there was a significant gradient. We have dilated again. Diego started with a 16, then we went back with the 18 millimeter balloon, the high pressure balloons. We checked with the coronary arteries that they were checked on the first procedure, but now again, to be sure that after opening the conduit a little bit more, the coronary artery was not compressed. And then we went with the valve. The deployment was exactly in the place that we decided to deliver the valve inside the conduit. No regurgitation at all, no paravalvular leak, which is in a way expected, and the gradient is acceptable. We have 60. We are showing the hemodynamics here on the RVOT, and we have 42 on the right pulmonary artery when we went with the pigtail there. So I think it's a nice case. This guy has a lot of experience here with different valves. We have started many years ago. Probably we might take some minutes to review this slide that I introduced in the presentation while we wait for some questions from the audience, and Germán can describe which is our experience here in Favaloro with these different slides. Please go back to the slide and go back to this slide. I think it's the
last one.
2 or 3 from the very end.
What is very important,
where you have a lot of valves.
Yeah, Oscar, what is very important
Excellent.
in this situation is
Excellent.
if you are not happy with the final results of the RV pressure, you will be able to put another balloon, even one high pressure balloon like an Atlas or any one of them, and you can go up to 22 millimeters diameter, and the valve works perfectly. We have already done this, and there is no problem.
That's excellent, because in a way, what you are saying is here in this field, that's probably not that's common or useful, or no, I mean not useful, that common for everybody. We can go as with the post dilatation, yes, like we do with the TAVI or with the valve in valve on the mitral or whatever. We have a gradient, and here what we are trying to do in a way is cracking or fracking. the conduct, which is absolutely calcified.
Yes.
Yes.
So maybe you, Herman, I think we have 1 minute more.
Okay.
You can say which is our experience with Melody, which was our first valve, and then with Edwards, we have few. Let's go, because we only have 1 minute.
I can see that I need glasses, but it's okay.
The first one is Melody.
The Melody valve, which was next month, we are going to have our 10 years
follow-up.
Yeah, follow-up of our first pulmonary valve implanted in Argentina was here with Oscar, and I continue saying to him,
and Dr.
thank
John.
you very much. Yes, because we were working for this implant for 2 years, and we have a very strong experience with the Melody valve. We have implanted more than 35 valves, and of course we have the best follow-up of this patient. And also we used the Edwards Sapien, but we didn't have a good experience because the valve, the delivery was not nice. And then we put also the Venus P valve, which was in Argentina for the last 7 years. But the problem that we have with the Venus P valve that was indicated in this situation, and when the Pulsta valve appeared, it was like we were very surprised because we thought that we were able to implant in these two very different conditions, and the valve works perfectly, really perfectly. So in Argentina, we don't have the Medzenit valve, and also we don't have the Harmony or the Altera system for the Sapien, but we think that we have a very good number of options, because here now we have the valve of the Venus P for stenosis, which has already arrived here, and the My valve, which looks very nice, similar to the Edwards valve. But I can say that for the last 10 years, our experience, which was initial with balloon valve, was great, and is getting greater with this type of valve.
Excellent. So let me show you how we are going to finish the procedure with the figure of 8 for closing the vascular access, and then we are done. If you zoom with one of the two cameras here to my hands, to the left here, I will show you from here to here. If somebody is hearing me. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Zoom here.
The famous
Excellent.
Fisherman.
It's gonna take a little bit of time.
Okay.
Okay. What we have done here is we have a bicryl here. We did a crossing from here to here. Then I went up and here to here. So we are doing here a figure of 8. Then 1, 2, and 3, and like then the knots we do with the ProStar, we are going here. Now I can pull from here and close the groin. Take it out, Dio. As you can see here, there is. Give me
yes.
To clean here.
As Siad told the first time, as worse is better.
Dr. Siad told to us. So we have a closing here. This is gonna be like here, like this for 3 or 4 hours, and then we will release when the vein is absolutely closed. So this is one cheapest way for closing 14 or 16 French sheath on the femoral vein. So I think this is a great case. Thank you guys for helping us and for sharing Medstream. And see you next week for the the 12th edition of Medstream Live from Favaloro Foundation. Bye-bye.
Bye.